Hello everybody, welcome to Ageless Rock channel where megalithic sites are seen from a different perspective. Today, we are going to check out the labyrinth of aqueduct at Ollantaytambo town in Cuzco region in Peru. Logically, Peruvians should be more concentrated in the lush green lower land on the east rather than Rocky Mountains of the west. If I am the emperor, I would rather stay in Pilcopata, where my people can be busy planting corn at 500 meters altitude, instead of smacking bedrock at 2,800 meters altitude. Besides, Pilcopata already has all the rivers you need for farmers to plant at industrial scale. But yet, the Incas chose to start an empire in the Rocky Mountainous Range, which we now visit as Cuzco. Ollantaytambo is very dry during winter in the middle of the year. Rainfall in summer is a great news for farmers from December to January. At the bottom of the mountain is already 2,800 meters above sea level. If you see from the topography, you can probably notice rainwater is going to run off through the terrace created out of bedrock. The primary reason for these bedrock terraces is a water collection system for the water fountains at the bottom. The Incas will chant certain prayers to purify the water from the source. In this case, I can see the source is at Inca Watana. From our scientific point of view, we do not know what Inca Watana at the top is for. We loosely connect the megalithic ruins as Sun Temple, but I can tell you that the structures for chanting to purify water to be collected at the fountain below is not a coincidence. These terrace structures are meant for channeling rainwater to certain area for certain purpose. The amount of work to get a little bit more land outweighs the logic by 1,000 times. Planting something on top was done by later civilization because the terraces were already there. All they need was bring topsoil from lower land. This polygonal masonry with no gap is not for aesthetic purpose. The little hole is part of the entire aqueduct system. The structure was created to retain water so that it can be controlled to flow where it was intended by the unknown ancient builders. Amazing and impossibly human drainage system was created out of the bedrock to provide fountain, which today we have scientists still debating the mysterious purpose. Look at the strange cut from the bedrock. It is curved and then flows straight in one direction, but with a break in the middle. You can see the impossible and unnecessary cut out bedrock that made no sense. But there is another impossible construction that took place. A huge chunk of bedrock was removed before they can even shape the drainage system. Just for this section alone, you can see a rectangular block has to be removed before they can have a fancy drainage system. I don't think the Peruvians felt a need to be artistic and creative just to have water for corns. This aqueduct system is beyond agricultural and human needs. The extensive aqueduct system in Ollantaytambo exits through 14 fountain outlets. Even more puzzling is that these channels are now credited to pre-Inca culture known as Quilqui culture. It goes to show that the dating of this site is still debatable and the brightest of mind knows nothing. The immensity of terracing project to get 14 water fountains at the base will not make sense no matter how you see it. There are existing freshwater river systems exceeding the needs of Peruvians, by 1,000,000 times at the valley for 1,000,000 years. If Peruvians did this 1,000 years ago, they would have drinking water straight from the tap in every home by now. The Incas built a structure around a water fountain, which we call it as water temple. If the Incas used this as a place for chanting and performing rituals, it doesn't mean they created this fountain so that water from the megalithic bedrock terraces can reach here. The most unique water fountain is Bath of the Princess Fountain. It was created from a single rock with Inca Chacana design. It seems to have magical power. If you run one finger across the drain, the water will slow down to almost a stop. If you run your finger across again, it will run full speed again. It looks like a turn on and off mechanism. But how can this be? Actually, it is not on and off like a faucet. If the water flows out like a tap, run your finger across the drain and the water will flow onto the stone instead. So it looks like water supply being cut off. If this interesting knowledge is not a coincidence, then this must be an ancient technology by the unknown ancient builders. Look at the water that runs out of the drainage system. It looks like there is a magnet pulling the water back to the stone. It has to do with the law of physics. Water surface tension, adhesion, cohesion can explain this. There is a lot of knowledge about water not taught to us in high school. This will come under physics, which most students do not like anyway. The civilization that tapped into such law of nature was certainly environmentally more advanced than we could ever imagine. Let's compare a small bedrock terrace at Tambo Mache in Peru. This is evidence that bedrock terrace was not built for agriculture. You can plant something on the entire slope without two megalithic terraces. But you can see from the photo, this is probably a good spot to channel water in one direction and accumulated enough to flow from a selected spot to have a good flow of clean water for a very long time. I would like to compare a similarity here with another structure in Kadamgah in Iran. They both have niches and are 3 levels high. These two mysterious megalithic monuments might have been created by the unknown ancient builders for the same purpose. I am pretty sure after this presentation, you will not see the water fountain the same way when you visit Ollantaytambo in your vacation. This water system is far too advanced for a primitive civilization 1,000 years ago. If you track the entire aqueduct system, you will find even more strange architecture we cannot do today. That's all for today, and hope you enjoy my short presentation on aqueducts at Ollantaytambo, and see you next time. This is Bernie Ong signing out. Adios, hasta luego.